Hello, my name is Tammy, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to connect your Paystack account to your Google Sheets account using Quabbly. For this particular video, we're going to be creating a workflow that helps you record transactions, successful transactions from your Paystack account into a particular Google spreadsheet. Before we start with the workflow, you want to make sure that you have an active Paystack account which has at least one previously successful transaction. This is going to help when you want to test your trigger. You also want to make sure that you have a spreadsheet to collect this information. So I've created this sample spreadsheet with four different columns to collect the reference number, the customer's email, the amount, and the date of this particular transaction. So to create a workflow, you're going to go ahead to the workflow tab on your dashboard in Quabbly and then create workflow. The first thing we're going to do when creating a workflow is to add a trigger. In this case, our triggering app is Paystack. So we're going to search for Paystack and then select the new transaction trigger. Then we're going to connect our Paystack account. To connect your Paystack account, you simply need to copy your live secret key from your settings on your Paystack account and paste it here. So I'm going to do that. So I've connected my Paystack account and I'm going to click on continue. Actually, before clicking on continue, you want to also set the status of the transaction here. So the transactions that we want to record in our Google Sheets are successful transactions. So we're just going to pick this particular field and select success before we continue. So we don't have need for conditions for this particular use case. So what we're going to just do is go ahead to test the trigger. So our trigger was successful because we can see the details of a previous transaction from our Paystack account. You can see the transaction ID, reference number, email, customer's first name, last name, and phone number. So after testing the trigger, the next thing would be to set up the action. And our action app is our Google Sheets app. So I'm going to search for that and I'm going to select on an action to insert record into a row. So this action is taking the transaction details from our Paystack account and adding it as a record into a row on the spreadsheet that we want in our Google Sheets account. So the next thing to do would be to connect your Google Sheets account to Quabbly. So I successfully connected my Google Sheets account. I'm going to select the particular spreadsheet that I'm working on, which is the sample transaction sheet, and the particular page on that spreadsheet, which in this case is successful transactions. Because if you look here, you can see that I have two pages, successful transactions and failed. And we want to record successful transactions in the successful transactions page. So I'm going to select successful transactions and then the next thing would be to map our data. So what this basically means is we're mapping the details of the transactions that we got from Paystack to the different columns in this particular page. So we're mapping the transaction reference to this column, we're mapping the email of the customer to this column, we're mapping the amount of that transaction and the date to these particular columns. So we're going to click on the value here, select custom, click on Paystack new transaction, So this field is for the transaction reference. So we're just going to look for reference and select it. This field is for the customer's email. So we're going to look for email, select. This field is for the amount, sorry. So we're going to select amount. And finally, this field is for the date of the transaction. So you could decide to either choose the paid date or the day it was created. So we're just going to choose the paid date and we're going to test this action. So if our action was successful, we should see it in our spreadsheet. And yes, so we have the transaction reference, the email, the amount, and the date that this transaction happened. So that's how you connect your Paystack account and your Google Sheets account with Quabbly, and this is how you record transactions into your Google spreadsheet. Thank you.